Hello, welcome back to Full Stack Developer tutorial series, and in this video we will continue with the remain functions for the user repository. Alright, so the previous video we have get all the users into a list and print them out into the console. And we will recommend this function. Then just go into the user repository and create more method. Now we will get a single user by get user by the ID. Okay, we will put the parameter into the method, the short ID, and we will also use the session to work with the database. So we just change a little bit here for to getting data. Now we will use the method get from session. We have a user equal session get, and we put the user class and then the ID. Okay, finally we return a user. Very simple, right? And go back to the app, and then we will create user equal repository get user by ID. I will put the ID 1 here, 1 cat in short. Okay, and then I will print it out. System out println user. Let's go to run it. Alright, you can see in the console we now have a result, a user by the ID here. Alright, so let's get back to the user repository and create another method. Now we will get a single user by the username. So we need to put a username into the parameter, and also copies all the thing here because we also use the session again. And now instead of use the get and put the ID, now we will create a query user query, because now we need to search the data with the username. So we need to create a query, and in here we put a query like this, user where the username equal name. Okay, username. Okay, don't worry about the syntax of this. Just write your code and enjoy it. We will learn this in some next video, so just enjoy. Okay, and after you create a query, we will use the query, and you see we set a parameter here. This means that indicate that where here is a dynamic value that we can put via the method named set parameter. Okay, so we can put the username for this parameter, and the first parameter is the name of the parameter in the query, and then the value for it. Alright, and the last, we will get the user by the query. Because we just get a single value, right? We just get one user, so we will use the unique result here, and then return the user. Just go back to the app and change the get user by ID to get user by username, and we put the username tab 5 dep like this and run it. Alright, and you can see we have the same result here because I put the same name for this user. Now I try to change the parameter to see what happened, whether the function can get a result. Alright, you can see we get a result no here because there's no any username like this in the database. Alright, next we will go to the create username, okay, or create a user. We go back to the user repository and write the method create user with a user for the parameter, and we also use the session, so just copy this for fast. And in here, instead of returning something, we just use the session for save something. Alright, use the session to save something, save the user. Okay, very simple. And now we just go back to the app and try to we need to recommend this and try to use the repository create user. But before we call the method, we just create a user object, user okay, new user equal new user, and I will set the new user name is something new from code. Okay, and then I will use the method create user and put a user name here, and let's run it. I will open the Backend workbench for checking the database, change it. Alright, you can see the Hibernate shows something here that show you that the method was successfully executed. Alright, so let's just go to the Backend workbench and check the user table, and you can see we have a row with the username something new from code. This is this come from the running here before. Okay, so now we move to update the username by loading the object from the database and update our object directly. We have two types of two ways to update a user. Okay, I will show you soon. Just recommend this and go back to the user repository, and now we will create the method public void update user. For this method, we will put the ID and the new value for the username, and because we also use the session, so just copy and paste here. Okay, and to work with the update, you need to call the method begin transaction. Okay, and after you do something, we need to get the transaction and commit. Okay, and before we commit, we will use the transaction to get the user equal session load user class with the ID. Okay, so as you can see here, we use the load method. The load method will return you what? We can go here and see. Okay, we can see anything here, but just remember that when we use this method, it will return you an object that linked to your database. So when you change something in this object, for example, you use the user and you set the username like this. Okay, username like this. The data will be changed by this. But to apply the changes, you need to call the transaction commit like this to change the database. Okay, so let's go back to the app and do something with this. We will call the method update the user. We will put the user the ID 1 and put the new name. For example, user. Sorry. Need to cat short for the first parameter because it's a short data type, and run it. Yeah. So as you can see in the database, for the ID 1 we have username like this, and yeah, we just finished the running. So let's go back to the Backend workbench and run the select from user. Alright, now we can see the ID 1 have the username new name. Okay, very simple, right? And now we move to another update user by the object. Okay, by the object. So just go back to the user repository and create. Okay, we copy first. Copies this first and create a method update user. Now we just put a user for the parameter, right? And now we will call the, instead of load the object and set the attribute for this object, we will use the session and call the update method and put the user here to update it directly. Alright. Oh, sorry, I'm missing the void keyword. And go back to the app. Now we create a user, new user, and this user will we will set the ID because we update the directly we updated the user directly, so we need to set the IDs. Then the Hibernate will find the object mapping with this ID. Okay, for example, I will put the ID 1. Yeah, I like 1 number. And for the username, update by object. And finally, I call the update user by the object like this, and let's run it. Alright, it finished successfully, and go back to here and check. Alright, we have the ID 1 with the username update by object. It will change it. Okay, now we just create a method to delete the data from the table. We create a method delete user. Okay, so this method will receive the ID for deleting, and just copy and paste here for faster. And now we will use the instead of set the username or update here, we just call the session. Alright, sorry, instead of set the username, I will call the session delete user. Okay, so see, first I just load the user from a database, and then I delete this object. Very simple, right? And go back to the app. I will recommend this. Recommend this also. And I just call repository delete user, and I just put the user ID 1 short and run it. After it finishes safely, just check in the database. Alright, we can see the user with the ID 1, it disappear in the database. Alright, I think that's all. Yeah, if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. And if you have any question, please write them down, and I will answer you very soon. Okay, thank you for watching, and see you in next video.